Now we come to the highlight of our afternoon show, and I'd like to call Jan Horidan up to introduce the speech contestant winners and tell us a little bit about how they got here, and I'm anxious to hear from them.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Jan Horden. I'm from the Sandersville Rotary Club, and I'm the District Speech 6920 chair. And I have the pleasure of introducing 4 of the brightest students that I have seen in a long time. And they're all sitting there, just anxiously waiting to give their version of the theme for this year. And we had 27 clubs participate over a 4-zone contest. This is the first year that we have actually had 4 zones. So each of them was obviously the club winner, and they came to zone and absolutely blew the judges away in each zone. We're going to go by, we're going to have them introduced and give their speeches by the order of the zones. So our first contestant is from the Northern Zone, and that is Emma Kate Few, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Augusta.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here, not just because it's much better than school, but I'm so thankful for everything the Rotary Club does and what they stand for, and very honored to be able to speak to such an amazing group and to represent the Rotary Club of Augusta. Vincent van Gogh once said, "Great things don't happen by impulse, but by a series of small events. Giving just a day of your time makes an incredible amount of difference in your community." Research has shown that youth who spend just 1 hour a week volunteering are 50% less likely to abuse drugs or engage in destructive behavior. They're more likely to do well in school and continue volunteering as adults. We as youth have so much to offer if we would just get out and give back. I believe that youth are the key to developing multi-generations of a service-oriented community. We are truly a great underutilized asset. I love volunteering, and Rotary's theme this year, Engage Rotary, Change Lives, is a great reminder of how service in a community will change a community. I've always been taught that service to your community is one of the most important things that we can do as citizens. Because I've been volunteering since I was younger, I now feel comfortable when I volunteer. Several years ago, I started a group called We Care Club to promote youth volunteerism at an early age. This year, I'm working with the first graders at Episcopal Day School on a project to collect shoes for the nonprofit organization Souls for Souls. The first graders are collecting shoes from their homes, but more importantly, they're learning to share their excitement over this service project with others. They're visiting the other classrooms at school and leading the students in this project. I'm seeing firsthand how first graders can learn through service. A few months ago, I actually had the opportunity to speak to my local Rotary Club about my Souls for Souls shoe drive. And with the Rotary Club's help, I was able to donate over 5,000 pairs of shoes to be distributed worldwide. What a perfect example of how engaging Rotary really does change lives. I think it's very easy for us to take for granted the things that we have, me included, until I met a group of people that lacked something as basic as a pair of shoes. That's what Rotary International President Ron Burton's theme means to me, and I truly believe that when we engage ourselves in a life of service, then not only are we changing the lives of those that we are helping, but we grow as individuals, and we understand that it is more blessed to give than to receive. I believe that each one of us has a heart for service. As an executive member of the Red Cross Youth Board, I've had the privilege of leading over 500 elementary-age students within the last 5 months through a program called ELDC, Elementary Leadership and Development Conferences. We host day-long conferences, and through fun activities, insightful lessons, and great camaraderie, we show them the importance of service. They are practicing the 4-way test by building goodwill and better friendships through the various activities. What if we encouraged everyone to say, think, and do what the 4-way test expects of us? By being accepting of each other and doing our part to help those around us, we really can change the world, no matter what age we are. Sometimes adults don't get the real picture of youth in our community, but I'm here to tell you that I'm just one of the many youth that are watching your example of giving back. Changing lives isn't just the goal of Rotary's national theme this year. It's in Georgia, and it's in this room. Thank you for your example to the next generation, and know that we are making a difference. As Margaret Mead once said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. Okay, so I didn't tell you this in the beginning, but my name is Emma Kate Few. I'm a sophomore at Aquinas High School in Augusta, Georgia, and my lovely mother and father are sitting over there, Trey and Indy Few. Y'all can give a little wave. All right, thank you.
Here's your check, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Our next winner is from the Western Zone, and that is Reed Bailey, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Valdosta.
Hi, my name is Reed Bailey. I'm a senior at Valdosta High School, and today I'm accompanied by my parents, Shannon and Tammy Bailey, and my younger brother, Reagan Bailey. When I first heard of the Rotary International Speech Competition, I immediately began to reminisce in my own brief encounter with my local Rotary Club, the Valdosta chapter. Early in 2013, I and the other members of the Valdosta High School Jazz Ensemble were told we would be performing for a Rotary meeting. I'll be honest, I had never heard of Rotary before, and I had no idea what to expect. Knowing similar situations and venues that my jazz ensemble had performed at, though, I was quite surprised at what I did experience. There wasn't an unfriendly person in the room, nor an ungrateful one. The cultural diversity was something I was quite shocked at. A black man laughing with his Latino guest, and men and women conversing and dining together, and not because they were bound by marriage to do so. The acceptance of first-time guests was a feature I found quite exceptional. Rotary is defined as a culturally diverse group of neighbors, friends, and community leaders. So often, similar organizations in our communities are stereotypically labeled to one gender, age, race, economic background, or political affiliation. And this is what truly dignifies you as Rotarians from others. Not the separation from your communities, but the acceptance of it. And whether the people of the community realize this or not, this is the pure definition of engaging Rotary and changing lives. In a nation plagued by its past of fear for anyone different, and especially here in the South, where our history of hate and discrimination haunts us, your simple policy of acceptance of diversity is breaking down the ways and the barriers of our nation's past and uniting us all. Although Rotary members are all from extensively different backgrounds, they're united by their common goals and passions for serving our community. Aside from their service to our community through their acceptance of diversity, Rotary International is responsible for many service projects across the globe, specializing in 6 key areas: preventing diseases, world peace, providing access to purified water, children's health, community development, and basic education and literacy. Basic education and literacy is something my own Valdosta chapter specializes in. In October of 2013, the Imagination Library, a local program that is dedicated to providing children up to the age of 5 years old with 1 book per month, reached out to our community for help. Rotary was the first to respond, heading fundraising and taking donations from anybody willing to help. By November of that same year, just 1 month later, Rotary had raised over $8,000. It was enough to satisfy the literacy needs of the 43 children already in the program, move another 21 off the waiting list, and then still left enough money to satisfy the needs of 50 students in our community. Famous French author and philosopher Victor Hugo once said, "To learn to read is to light a fire. Every syllable that is spelled out is a spark." Through their undying efforts, Rotarians have ignited a wildfire of literacy in our community, and by doing so have brightened the pathway for many underprivileged youth. Across the globe, millions of people are engaging in the Rotarian lifestyle and embracing and accepting the communities around them, whether it be through providing children with books at a young age, or your organization's unyielding and undying efforts at curing polio, or simply making a high school senior's journey and financing college a little bit easier through this great program. You are making the communities and the world we live in a better place. So thank you to my own Valdosta chapter for embracing our community. Thank you to you for embracing the communities around the states. And thank you to Rotary International for changing the world we live in.
Okay, our next winner is from the Coastal Zone, and this is Kathleen Schumann, and she is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Glenville.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kathleen Schumann. I am a senior this year at Tattnall County High School. Today I am accompanied by my mother and my grandmother. My father would be here, but he is currently deployed. So I'll be giving my speech today in honor of him. At one point or another, every woman ponders with the idea of being a queen. I put these thoughts into action at my school's annual pageant last year. After I had successfully purchased fake hair, fake nails, and 5-inch heels, I was ready to show my true beauty to the judges. But I was missing the most important thing, my dress. After what seemed like an eternity spent at a pageant store, I, and my 2 younger brothers, were greatly relieved that I finally found a dress to wear in the pageant. Although the zipper had been giving us some trouble in the dressing room, the sales clerk assured us that it would be absolutely fine. And not long after we purchased the dress, the big night arrived. As I began to slip on my gown, my mother uttered 4 words that no girl wants to hear before she walks on stage. "The zipper is stuck," which was followed by the even more terrifying, "The zipper is broken." I was mortified. How could I go on stage in a broken dress? Thinking on her feet, our pageant coordinator quickly began sewing me into my dress. Yes, that's right, she sewed me into my dress. As I walked on stage, I was sure that my dress would burst open any minute, and I would no doubt go down in pageant history, just not the way I wanted to. Later that night in the dressing room, everyone assured me I would look back on this night and laugh. Well, I wasn't laughing yet. I was determined to take my dress back to the shop and recount my tragic night to the management. Upon my arrival, I was taken to the owner of the store, who more than made up for the mishap I'd suffered the night before. He was extremely embarrassed and insisted that I get any new dress with jewelry and shoes to match free of charge. When I returned to the store, I fully expected a refund. What I didn't expect is that the owner would go above and beyond the call of duty to ensure my satisfaction. Reflect on this business transaction with me. Was it the truth? Was it fair to all concerned? Did it build goodwill and better friendships? Was it beneficial to all concerned? I can answer yes, 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 and absolutely. When I bought my gown, I was promised a formal that would grace me for many nights to come. Although there were some setbacks, I eventually got what I paid for. The deal was also fair. In my opinion, the final deal was more than fair. It definitely built goodwill and better friendships between myself and the shop. Believe it or not, I still frequent that shop to this day. Finally, the entire arrangement was indeed beneficial to all concerned. Do you recognize these 4 points? Surely you do. It's Rotary's 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? This straightforward ethical guideline is a call to moral excellence. Herbert J. Taylor, author of the test, intended for it to be used in every aspect of business, whether it be marketing or creating partnerships. The Rotarians in my community are excellent examples of competent, aggressive business leaders. And when the whole world abides by Taylor's guidelines, it can look just like my small hometown, full of successful, ethical business leaders. Thank you for your time.
Okay. And our last speaker is from our Eastern Zone, Isabel Vincent, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Statesboro.
Hello, I'm Isabel Vicens. I'm a freshman at Statesboro High. I'm with my guardian, Laura. My mother is also unavailable to be here. May I add, I hope your father comes home safely. And let me just jump right in. There are so many different aspects to Rotary than what meets the eye. You don't need to be famous to be a Rotarian or have made a life-changing discovery. To be a part of Rotary, you just have to want to make a change in not only your community, but the people in it as well. Anything you do to enrich and improve the world is what makes you a Rotarian. It baffles me to think of all the different ways you can go about achieving this goal. Even people who desperately want to make a substantial change cringe in the shadow of the wide array of ways to start. Sometimes it's hard to think of where you want to begin or what you want to achieve. Don't be under the impression that you have to become a superhero. A lot of something little or simple eventually adds up to become something bigger than you and me. It becomes the beginning of new ideas and change, which should always be welcomed. So start with these little things. Volunteer at a soup kitchen, or donate to an animal shelter, or even just offer to pick up trash in your local parks and neighborhoods. Should you ever come to a dead end and need help, just refer to the Rotary 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friends? And is it beneficial to all concerned? This may not be a glamorous lifestyle to live by, but you're making a much needed difference. Think of all the people we never really acknowledge. Think of all the jobs that give back to the community that we've never taken a second to consider. Think of all the real Rotarians in our day-to-day lives. Give respect to the teachers and the daycare workers, the firemen and policemen, the sanitation workers, and the businessmen and women. Think of how the world would be if one day we lost these people. The most valuable contributors to the growth and maintenance of safety, education, and health. Without these